Thank you, Jillian. Well, what I heard her say is whatever we say right now is going to be used against us. So, so be careful what you say. I'm ready to get started. It's 2 o'clock. I've been up since 3 a.m. So I can't wait to get through my session. If I go too fast, stop me. If you don't understand what I'm saying, stop me. I have been told that sometimes when I say session, it sounds like sexant. Don't ask me. Also, if I'm not loud enough and you're in the back, also raise your voice, your hand, your voice, whatever, your laptop, and let me know. And with that, let me ask you questions. How many of you have used AI today? Oh, wow, I get all the experts to the room. Awesome, I love it. Well, here's the thing. AI is here whether or not we like it, whether we use it or not, is no longer a trend. And it's funny to me that people still say, oh, AI is a trend. Well, guess what? It's not really a trend, not really an emerging technology. It's already very much woven in the very fabric of our life. And it's basically like your mom secretly doing your laundry when you're at work and you don't know it, but you benefit from it. So the data proves it as well, but before we get to the data, I want to start with a fun exercise to get us all warmed up, and I have a poll that I'm going to launch in a second if my slider will let me. So it's a word cloud. What you're going to type, sorry, the font is kind of small at the front, but basically you're going to put in the first word that comes to mind when you think of AI in events. And we're going to look what we get. As long as AI is not replacing, let's see what we get. Okay, as long as AI is not replacing speakers with some hologram that accidentally freeze mid-sentence, I think we're going to be fine. Although, let's be honest, some presentations could actually benefit from that. All right, but in all seriousness, AI in events isn't about just some robots taking over or running your show. It's about finally getting some help with those 2,000 tasks that you got to do every single day. So we're going to run into that a little bit, and we're going to get excited because maybe now AI will help us not have to run on caffeine all day long. I love all those words that are coming in. Keep them coming. I didn't see yet Skynet. For some reason, sometimes that always makes it in some of those workouts. And I'm like, why? All right, fabulous. Well, while that's still going, I'm not going to stop that poll just yet until it's time for me to go back. I want to make sure I'm in my slide. OK, there we go. Game changer, efficiency, personalization, sometimes overhyped. All of those are great answers. So thank you for being good sports and playing along. OK, that being said, I want to touch on report here. And let's, OK, there you go. I think my slider also didn't get enough sleep. That's why it's like so slow. There's this Gallup report that came up. It was actually a survey that found that 99% of Americans have used AI-powered products in the past week alone, yet only 64% realized it. Meanwhile, McKinsey reports that 92% of companies are increasing their AI investments, but only 1% feel like they're actually using AI well. That's like buying a Peloton and then using it twice, and then next thing you know, it's your clothing rack. I'm sure nobody has done that. The main obstacle really is not employees, not technology, but leadership hesitation. And hesitation isn't always about resistance. It's often about perception, because sometimes we don't realize the significance of something until, we step back and truly see it in hindsight. AI has been right in front of us all along for over 2 decades. I mean, think of Netflix, think of Amazon, and every other e-commerce out there. And the goal really here is for us to realize it, and as the Gallup report suggests, not just use it, but also leverage it in a way that is a real opportunity to do more than automating tasks, but maybe for demand forecasting and attendee personalization and unlocking new revenue streams and sponsorship validation, supplier ROI, all of that helps us make smarter decisions, while also staying ahead of the industry shifts, which are happening left and right, very much so at a neck-break speed, if you ask me. All right, who am I? Well, I'm Anka Pradotri-Fan. I spent 20 years at the intersection of AV and event technology and AI, and I have helped and help event teams work smarter, not harder, with AI. I'm currently leading technology and AI strategy partnerships at meetings and incentives worldwide. I also host the Events Demystified podcast, where I get to talk about industry trends, AV, AI, and event planners surviving on sheer willpower and caffeine. That would be me as well. Speaking of which, if I could figure out how to keep the coffee refilled at 4 p.m. on day 3 of the conference, that would be a real innovation. Okay, so what are we gonna do? And I've got a tiny disclaimer to make here, and that is, this session is gonna be a bit of a part fire hose. So buckle up, because we're gonna go through a lot of things pretty fast. My goal is to keep it practical, fun, relevant, and no, AI won't be planning your event for you, but it can help you find maybe the best time to send that sponsor email without staring at your inbox like it's some magic 8-ball. So we're gonna touch on the state of AI in events, AI-driven personalization, AI for content and marketing, AI-powered data insights, and then some challenges and solutions, because we wanna end on a high note. Okay, and with that, what is AI? And I'm gonna really answer this in the most normal human terms that you can think of. AI is basically a tool that analyzes data, recognizes patterns, and makes decisions like we humans do, only way faster and way more accurately. In event planning terms, AI is the intern that you wish you had, that it can draft your emails exactly how you want it to be drafted. It can predict your attendee behaviors. It can suggest which session people will actually show up to, not just register to. And in the context of events, we're talking about machine learning, which learns from past attendee behavior to predict future trends, natural language processing, which powers the AI chatbots for attendee engagement and whatnot, computer vision used in facial authentication checking. I don't know how many of you use the Wicked. Okay, that would be that, awesome. Then predictive analytics, which optimizes prices, sponsorship ROI, and personalized recommendations. All right, we got another fun slide, and let me make sure that I enable it. Which AI tool do you secretly wish existed? I'm personally waiting for AI that stops people from asking, is there a vegetarian option while they're holding a plate full of chicken? That would be probably me. All right, so let's see what we got here. Okay. A chatbot gets me out of meetings politely. Ooh, I love that. And AI that responds to emails exactly how I could. Yes. Oh, the suitcase, please, someone. Hallelujah. I see where you guys' brains is at. All right. All right. I love it. Well, keep those answers coming in. Like I said, I don't want to be all serious. I want to make this fun as well. But if I'm the only one laughing, that's not fun either. All right, so when it comes to AI, not AI is created equal. By now, probably a lot of you have realized that ChatGPT won't edit your event video. Midjourney won't write your marketing emails. And trust me, you do not want Dolly to make your speakers headshots unless you're going for Picasso after 3 espresso shots. So before you jump into anything AI, make sure that you're picking a tool that actually is designed for what you need. Otherwise, you'll probably spend more time fixing mistakes than saving time. Some AI is definitely great at writing articles, and some can generate stunning images, and well, some I feel like can confidently generate a photo of a 2-finger hand holding a 6-scoop ice cream cone like it's totally normal. You guys seen those? I think we're like many, many months post that. Thank God. I'm going to share a few slides in a few minutes here that show you a lot of text-to-apps that you can take advantage of when you think of what AI to use for what tool. For right now, just keep in mind that in order to get the right output, you have to make sure that you're using the right tool for the right job. Otherwise, again, depending on the infrastructure, depending on the transformer model, depending on the data set and the training approach, a lot of the tools outcome will determine the output. Okay. Here's a not so funny reality about our industry today. I was chatting with an event professional recently, and they shared a very interesting shift that they see happening right now. More and more executives are asking basically their event teams about their AI strategy, and they're looking for ways to drive efficiency and improve engagement and justify event ROI. Any of you in that bucket? Probably, very much so. Which means AI isn't just a technical upgrade. It's becoming a strategic necessity because teams are smaller, budgets are tighter, and yet the number of events are growing. Financial constraints are more relevant, even more so than before, and the pressure to do more with less is very high. The good news is AI can be that key that the secret sauce to working smarter, not harder, so that you can manage more events with fewer resources. A recent comprehensive report that came out today from Event Tech Live, and if you see Adam with Event Tech Live waltzing in here, probably he's still on his airplane from London. It was released today, and I just happened to have contributed to the report as well. So if you go on LinkedIn and search for it, you can download it. But basically, it examines how AI is being adopted across various segments of the event industry, and it provides exclusive insights into AI adoption, industry trends, key challenges that event professionals are facing when they try to integrate AI into their workflows. And some of the compelling statistics that came out of that is 45% of event organizers are actively using AI tools to enhance operations and personalize the attendee experience. 55% of AI adopters are actually small businesses, 1 to 50 employees, that leverage AI to scale operations efficiently. 30% of event companies and agencies have begun incorporating AI within the last year alone, which indicates a really rapid surge in interest and experimentations. And then there's the hardest part of all of this is that 30% of all of the training stuff and the cost that's associated with some of the AI adoption is the biggest barrier to making it more of a widespread in the event industry and event sector. So as the report suggests, AI is already shaping our events and our workflows. And it's kind of like Wi-Fi at a conference. I was just trying to get into the right Wi-Fi just before the session. You don't always see it working, but when it doesn't work, well, that's when chaos ensures. So a few ways in which AI is already making events teams smarter is through via in revenue is by optimizing pricing, predicting demand, and automating sales strategies, sourcing where your best vendors are being matched with venues faster and more efficiently. And we were using and I'll touch to the AI tools as well. So just so you know, even though this sounds like a lot of theory, we're going to get to the tools. We are using AI to cross-reference our attendee list to the vendors, to the type of sponsors that made more sense for them to connect. Personalization, which I'm sure you got lots of that through the app itself. And then sponsorships where you can use dynamic data visualization to prove ROI, but also maximize the engagement from your sponsors. So basically, there's a lot of ways in which AI can help today. And what's cool about that, you don't need a PhD in computer science or some kind of support group for bad event tech just to make it through that and learn. So AI-driven personalization, it has been actually one of the biggest shifts in which AI is driving in events currently. And let's be real, I mean, in the past, if you think about how you used to plan your personal conference schedule, it felt more like scrolling through Netflix, and about after 30 minutes, you end up still watching The Office again and again, right? So now, if you use the app, you probably notice how AI would say, I mean, not so in your face, but in so many words, hey, but based on your interest, this is the one session that is your vibe and you should join. So that kind of takes the guesswork out of it. It can also be argued that at one level, if it's taken to extreme, at which point do we still have agency if I want to like throw the algorithm in the air and be like, now I want to do something different. Like, stop telling me what to do. I want to go and watch this one session that I never really even think that I'd be interested in. At the end of the day, really, personalization at scale is what everybody is wanting to embed into the event technology and event apps. And even a Rainfocus app that I've used for the first time, through their personalized recommendations, you were able to get the right session. So hopefully that's how you all ended up here. I hope. But imagine where AI, could really support your event to make it personal based on some of that past attending behavior. Provide you with dynamic dashboards that you can show your executives, which is really telling the story of that event. And then, NLP for data insights is where you really meet your attendees where they're at. And we have actually used this at a recent event in Las Vegas where AI-powered matchmaking, not just between attendee to attendee, but attendee to sponsors, really increased the value of that connections by about 32%. And how we were able to measure that is because I'm going to touch on a tool later that gave us that kind of insight. So instead of hoping for the right introductions, now you have a way in which you can really match attendees and sponsors based on maybe shared goals, past interactions, engagement history, or specific interest. All right, so simple AI solutions, because we want to start with the simple and the cost-effective. And if you remember that time when you were manually emailing sponsors or vendors one by one, and then you're trying to predict demand based on, I don't know, gut feelings or good vibes. So AI can do all of that now in real time and do it really, really fast without you needing 3 cups of coffee just to get the job done. And one way in which I personally use AI is kind of like your AI concierge, where either private or public. You can train it on your events data, on your venues data. I train it on a whole 20 years of event production experience, and I actually created my own custom GPT, and what it does is helps me with comparing suppliers' RFPs for AV bills and AV production, and that is something that can be easily customized and deployed. It doesn't take a PhD, like I said, and it doesn't take a whole lot of money to get it done. This type of solution can predict upgrades and layout optimizations. Think about AI cross-checking grooming list for smarter planning, or instant attendee and exhibitor support, where you can have a chatbot answering the frequently asked questions in real time using historical event data, or you have the AI-powered matchmaking. And let me tell you, we're working on a conference right now, and that can be such a doozy. If you've ever tried to do that in real life, in real time, without AI, let me tell you, the manual process that goes into that is unbelievable. Now you can have AI analyze engagement history to pair sponsors with the right audience. And a couple of examples here of actually very successful deployment of custom GPTs that support the attendees is, for example, Enjoy Illinois launched an AI chatbot that's been handling over 8,000 user messages since June. New York City Tourism also introduced Alice, which is an AI chatbot platform that is specifically built for meeting and event planners. It's available in 45 languages, and it offers expert planning guidance and integrated resources from New York City Tourism. Other DMOs that are using AI in this form is Destination Toronto, Visit Idaho, which I've collaborated with because I'm from Boise, Tourism Greece, Dublin, and they're all using different versions of AI tools that really are open AI-powered travel assistants that can enhance engagement and accuracy. Now, the same thing can be applied to events, to venues, and any other internal clients that you work with a lot. And I have a couple actually of my own clients that are customized based on those GPTs that I create for them. Okay, the next advanced solution, if you have a larger budget for a larger event and that can deliver dynamic visualization data and real-time insights, and that type of personalization skills that I mentioned earlier, are a few of those mentioned here. And those are enterprise-level personalization tools, Event Intelligence, Signal, Power BI, Domo Analytical Dashboards, and also the Rainfocus and Salesforce integration, which can really capture the attendee engagement, demonstrate how events have influenced your pipeline. It can adjust the event content, session recommendations, marketing outreach, all of that good stuff in real time based on attendee behavior and preferences. I always wondered, though, if AI, determines that a session is really boring and event organizers want to do something about it, like, what do? Do you walk in the room and turn off the lights and slowly try to get people to a different session? Like, how does that logically happen? Like, if you guys have a solution, let me know, because I'd like to really find out. Because we talk about theoretically, that is true, that's happening. We know this session sucks. Like, this presenter, she has too many bad jokes. How do we get all these people out of there, right? You're event planners, you gotta figure this out. I'm telling you, like, I'm sure you have a solution. Anyway, those type of tools, like I said, they come at a cost, but they do deliver quite a bit of data, if you know how to use it, that is. Because at the end of the day, data is only as good as what you do with it. But hey, what time is it? It's time for another poll. Which AI tool would make the biggest impact on your events today? Let's see, because we talked about a lot of tools, and I want to see what jumped at you first. Do you want an AI concierge that answers where is the bathroom 800 times a day so you don't have to? Or maybe, just maybe, you want AI-powered analytics that actually make sense of post-event surveys. Because let's be real, if I see another survey that says the coffee was cold as the only feedback, I'm gonna lose it. So let's see what we got. Let's see, where is the screen? That's right, everybody wants the advanced AI for analytics because that drives a lot of the smart decision making. Love it. Well, thank you for your insights. All right, let's go back to, okay, how are you doing, guys? Are you doing okay? Okay? Am I speaking too fast? I'm only halfway through. All right, AI for content creation and marketing efforts. And I feel like by now, everybody, if they have used AI, probably the one place they have used it the most is here, right? Because like, just think about it, how much time does your team or do you personally spend or used to spend on just drafting session descriptions, marketing emails, copy, summarizing post-event reports? I mean, probably too much time, right? Now, with tools like this one, Voxer, and Johan is right there in the back, and I think I said your name right this time. Thank you. He can provide solutions like this that would automatically summarize meetings and provide you with key insights. And I use several tools in all of my meetings. I do not take a meeting where there isn't my AI assistant taking notes. I mean, that way I make sure that I'm present. And some of the AI tools that are available will even provide you instant feedback and sentiment analysis of whether or not that meeting is going really well, or like it's time to say something else because this is not going well at all. Also, as a speaker, I use it for coaching. I finally know how many filler words I use when I speak. Thank you, AI, for making me aware of it. I even have some post-it notes when I record my podcast where I say like, no more like, no more all those filler words that we all use. Like, it's not working, but at least I try. Here's a great example in which you can actually use whatever LLM out there that you prefer to use. Last week, it was the Monday after the Super Bowl, and I had to send out several emails to our sponsors for the event that we're working on. And I was pretty sure by then that their inboxes were flooded. So what I did, I asked AI to help me craft an email that was referencing the game's most talked about moments. Now, let me tell you, I didn't watch the game because I was in flight. So I missed all those most talked about moments. So I wanted to make it fun, engaging, and impossible to ignore. So I sent that out. And I'm sure that my competitor's email said something like, hope you had a great weekend. Well, guess whose email got responded fast? Just saying, just one simple example in which AI-assisted email and session content writing and just writing in general can cut down in that manual effort tremendously. It can also automate the meeting notes summarization, as we mentioned. It can write hyper-relevant messaging and agenda drafting and all the executive summaries. I reuse content like it's nobody's business in 20 different ways, one piece of content, and it's all with the power of AI. And if you don't, you're missing out. Now, before you go ahead and start drafting a bunch of emails and content with AI, make sure that it still sounds like you. Yes, AI can help you write faster, but if you're not careful, you'll end up with an email that sounds like a legal disclaimer or worse, a super enthusiastic robot that is trying so hard to be your friend. So I might not have time right now to actually get into the how to train your AI copilot to sound like you, but Luckily, I have several videos on demand available to all of you to watch on your own timing, which I'll make available to you at the end of the session. If you ever so scan the QR code, that will get you there. So if you're going to use AI to do anything, use it as your first draft and then refine the messaging because even that alone can still save you hours of work. Okay, this is the 2 slides that I'm going to go through super fast because it's just for visual representation of how fast the AI ecosystem is changing. And this is just on text to X, text to text, text to image, text to video. Goes back to when I said make sure that you use the right tool for the right job. There's also text to audio, text to 3D, video to text. And I actually have 2 more that I cover in more depth in another talk that I have listed on my YouTube channel that I would have more time to go through, where I go through each one of those tools. But some of my favorite ones, like for example, even here, if you think about meeting notes, those are great. And I'm not going to go into details, like I said, because I don't have the time. But it's a great representation of where we're at. And this is where you might get, if you would so provide me with some feedback as far as what resonated with you, and I mean now. If you could scan that QR code, get me some feedback on what resonated with you, what insights are you taking back, and what could be improved next time, because if you do all of that, what I promise you is to get you not just the free ebook, which is best prompting examples for events, but also frameworks on how to frame that, but also the slides, and you'll get several other resources on how to train your, how to build your first custom GPT, how to train your LLM in your voice and all of that. It really helps me make sure that those sessions are relevant. So thank you for doing that. And with that, I'm gonna get into data storytelling and sentiment analysis. And as I alluded to earlier, data isn't useful unless you actually do something with it. And AI is definitely helping to make sure that you do something with all the data you've been sitting on for years or who knows how long. And it's not so much based on gut feelings anymore, but actually on insights. One thing that I liked about the Rainfocus app is that not only can it track attend engagement, but it can flag real-time feedback deeps mid-session, and that is basically like AI as your best friend who nudges you at dinner when you're losing the room because your story about your cat's new diet is just going too long and nobody's interested anymore. One way in which AI can help is analytics that can optimize the sponsorship placements. At a recent event, we used that and were able to increase revenue by 20%. Or in plain English, no more sponsors stuck in the dead zone by the bathroom. Thank you for, I was getting really loud in there. I'm like, they're having fun. I want to go and join them. What I also like about the app and the platform, which I get to use every so often on some of our larger events. Not all the time, because let me tell you, they're expensive, but they're an option, they're a great option. It doesn't just collect data, it actually makes it actionable. And to me, that is the power of a platform that is AI-driven and provides sentiment analysis that can actually deliver results that you can act upon. I'm not gonna get a whole lot into this because time, but in one ways in which you can think of data storytelling with AI is engagement tracking, sentiment scoring, automated reports that you can get, sponsorship analytics, and all of this actually is also very much possible through event intelligence, through Signal, through Domo, as well as some other platforms out there that we're not going to mention because we are at a Rainfocus event. All right. As we're thinking about integrating all of this, and to wrap it up, like I said, on a higher note, what I'm going to repeat, if I didn't say it yet, is AI isn't here to replace us, at least not yet. It's here to enhance what we do best. And I want to believe that to be true. I was watching the live feed from a museum in, I don't know if it was London or Paris. And there was this creator that was using AI and it was basically the data set for that AI was the entire collection of that museum's art collection. And then it was asking AI to come with its own art based on this data. And what was interesting is that it created like something really interesting, but it could never create something, at least again, not at this moment in time, something that would make you look at a painting and you would sit there for hours trying to imagine what was that painter thinking about when he was painting this woman in a grass field looking into the distance. What was the story? What was the feeling? What was that person feeling, right? AI was creating something out of all of that, but it almost felt like it was creating something that was leading to nothing. So I don't know where that might actually lead in the future, but where we are right now, I think the real power of AI comes from strategic intentional integration. And where do you get started? Or how do you get started? Well, you start small. You focus on maybe automating one repetitive task. If you are, for example, on a Microsoft enterprise plan, you can use Power Automate to do so many things. If you're not on that and you're like, what are you talking about? Well, think of other tools like Zapier and Bardeen and Make. Those are some of my favorite tools to use for automation when it comes to AI integration. And that not only does your email generation and session recommendation, but it can do something that will save you time in the long term. Also measure impact, which means whatever you plan to do, whatever you plan to automate, track what's working and what's not, and then expand on that. That's where I think the real value comes from. And then collaborate. Look at AI as a tool for augmentation, not replacement, because again, success to me comes from AI plus human expertise. And I was having a great conversation with Johan earlier before the session started, asking about, how do they make sure that those sessions are transcribed correctly and there's no biases and all those things that sometimes come with an AI that's supervised, trained on a large data set. And I really liked what he said, that they have a team of people that oversee this entire process. That's why it's not instant, even if it could be, right? We still want that human in the loop. And then create a roadmap and be ready to review it often, okay? See how AI might fit in your long-term strategy, your long-term event strategy, business strategy, and whatever strategy that is, make sure that it can scale with your needs. All right, what else do we have? Okay. In conclusion, I guess the best events will be those that seamlessly blend AI-powered insights with human creativity and strategy. And we already talked about how AI is shaping the future of events. I mean, I've mentioned only 3 reports so far. So the question remains, how will you use it? And with that, I guess I have some time for some questions, which is unheard of. Do I? Or did I run over time? Oh my gosh, I was kidding myself. I do have a timer. But here's the thing. If I don't get to hear your questions. I do want you to stop me in the hallway. I do want to have a conversation about this. I think the best conversations are had after the session when we all go and get coffee, or we all have lunch, dinner, whatever, during the networking events. If not, I'd like to continue the conversation on LinkedIn, so that's where you can connect with me. And thank you for joining me today. I appreciate it, especially on first day of the conference. Like, I didn't expect so many of you to be here, to be honest. So I was ready to to ask Jenny, hey, can you do the session for me? Because I need to take a nap. Like, I'm really tired. Okay, and don't forget to get all the resources, and I already listed just a few of those. You provide me with some feedback. I would really appreciate if you did. And with that, this is my last slide. Guess that's it. Or are we locked in here? We can. But no, seriously, if you have questions, I'm open for it. I guess we have a few minutes, right? Okay, cool.
I don't believe the next sessions start until 3. So.
Okay, no, don't tell them that. I would like to maybe use the bathroom. Awesome. What do you guys think?
It's great.
Yeah, thank you. Somebody, please.
I'm sure everyone feels the same.
Oh, I appreciate that. Any questions? Anything that you feel like you're struggling with or challenging? Yeah.
So you had mentioned AI for note-taking.
Yeah.
Is there a specific tool that you recommend when it's just people in a room, there's no Zoom, there's no Teams?
Yes, I actually use Meet Geek. It's an app on my phone, Meet Geek, and when I'll be using it in all the other sessions that I'm going to, just to take notes. I know that Johan is there with his session things, but I'm gonna be side by side comparing the outputs. So let me make sure that I'm saying that right. Johan, do you know any other apps? Voxer, is Voxer an app that you can also use it in mobile?
Not at the moment. It's actually for events like this.
Okay, so you need to have the integration with the device in the room.
Yeah, you need to capture the audio somehow, but
Got it. So I use MeetGeek just through the phone's microphone. And last week, when I used it at a different conference that I was speaking at, it actually provided some really, really accurate, not just meeting notes, but key takeaways, and I took it straight to LinkedIn. All right, any other question? Yes.
You mentioned at a past event about a 32% value increase matching attendees to sponsors using
Yeah.
AI. How did you measure that?
Domo Analytics. That's one of the tools, the dashboard that we use. We have a whole team at Meetings and Incentives Worldwide, which is called the ISG, which is Intent Strategy Group. And one of the services that we provide, not just for the events that we work on, but also any other event, is a consultative approach to analytics. So like if you had an event and if you wanted to see data insights and you didn't have the right tools, because some of those tools do cost quite a bit of money, then that could be a service. You're welcome. Any other questions? Okay, what are you guys using AI for? Like, come on, just straight up tell me.
I use Spark.
Okay, I like Spark AI, yes. Do you use the free trial or use the pro version?
I was just at Convening Leaders and they gave us a trial.
Oh, they hooked you up.
Leader.
I mean, if you pay $2,000 to be there, they better have.
So I've been using it for analytics to track late registration behavior.
Very cool.
And try to track trends year over year so that I can start to predict.
And when, yeah, that's awesome. Very cool. You were gonna say something? It's like I forgot. Anyone else? Yes.
Oh, just kidding.
Okay, now go for it, and then I'll go.
I use it for survey analytics. So we run post-event surveys with commentary questions. So like it's easy to get average satisfaction rate when it comes to the commentary.
Yes.
I have it, so I explain what the nature of the survey was, what the question was, and all of the responses, and say, pull out the most often cited topics.
Yeah, yeah,
ideas,
yeah.
whatever,
And create a
tell me
report.
which ones responded on that topic, and give me a few key quotes.
Yeah.
Like representative quotes for the trends, and then definitely have to put that human layer on top of that for sure. But it has cut down
time.
process by taking
Okay, let me tell you a true story. I was talking to Michael. I forgot his last name, but he is basically he's the VP of content programming at South by Southwest. And by the way, I'll be there next week, I think. And he was telling me how in the past, post each event, they would spend 3 months, I kid you not, because they do take every survey, everything that every one of those 300 or 3,000 activations and sessions that they have, and they would analyze it, and they would tag it, and they would keyword tag it, and just trying to make sense of it all, and it all land in this humongous spreadsheet, right? So they blocked 3 months, their entire team of like, I don't know, 6 or 7 of them, and would go through each one of those surveys to make sure that they look through all of them. And then about 2 years ago, I think when ChatGPT came on the market, they had an intern that was it was kind of like computer science major, and Michael asked him, hey, I heard of this cool tool called ChatGPT. People called it like before Chat EPT or something. Anyway, like they really mispronounced it so much in the beginning. And it's like, can we do something with it where we analyze some of those surveys so we can cut down on all this time that we spend, just doing this? And he's like, yeah, I'll look into it. So he basically came up with a version of a custom bot that would take in all the data that was coming in and then automatically categorize it, tag it, take key takeaways, key sessions, key quotes, all of that done automatically. And that was done in literally like 5 minutes, like no brainer. The time that they are allocated to is to go through this data that now was categorized and nicely analyzed for them. And now the time that they needed to do all of that was 2 weeks compared to like really due diligence, right? You really are curious to see what people are saying if they're going to come to your event. And if you think about 3 months, 2 weeks, what are you going to do with that time that you now saved? Are you going to create more manual tasks for yourself? Or maybe, just maybe, you're going to spend more time in making sure that that audience is really heard and create the type of engagements and activations and the type of things. And I feel like South by Southwest, they really mastered that. I mean, if you've ever, any of you gone, I don't know what's going to happen after this year since the Austin Convention Center is getting renovated, but I would highly recommend that you do. And that was his story. And I'm like, wow, like mind blown, right? It's like that time that now you can do something better, smarter with your time, where you can really support your event in other ways, strategic ways, or maybe find, ways in which different activations that would speak to your attendee and to what that feedback is all about. So that, I didn't even include that feedback, but I loved it when I heard it. By the way, I'm gonna host a brain date on AI tomorrow, where we're going to talk about AI tools. If any of you want to join, I think there's still 1 or 2 spots left. I mean, you got to fight for it. But if you pay me in protein shakes, maybe I'll make an exception. Just kidding. Any other questions?
That answered mine. It's all good.
See, you thought you had a question. Yes, go ahead.
I just got the Meta glasses.
Yes.
I was wondering if you had seen any cool applications of wearable AI.
I have Meta glasses in my backpack right there. You know what's super cool? I actually use them for, I'm a content creator at heart. I mean, I do a lot of analytics and data and planning and all that. But I love to create content, and I just have too much that comes out of me that I have to do something with it. So I even created like those LinkedIn buckets that I have to organize my content in buckets. Otherwise, people are like so confused. Like, what do you really are passionate about? I'm like passionate about 4 different things. Here's those things. To your question, I love to do venues walkthroughs. I would use that for that. I love to use, also because I'm a bodybuilder, I go to every single one of those hotels and do a gym review. And I would do that with my glasses. I've used it before for, what was another thing? Oh yeah, like at IMAX. just to walk the floor. So we don't like kind of like holding, and my hand would get so like sore from just doing that. Those are just some fun ways. I'm sure there's other smarter ways, but I'm like also kind of, you look kind of nerdy. I feel like AI glasses, they still have a bit of that like nerdy reputation, especially when the light comes on and everybody's like, okay. I don't know if I would advise you to use it like in a meeting where you start recording a conversation without letting people know that, hey, by the way, I'm recording this for some reason or whatever. Not saying that I have not done it, but at least I made it like, I made it obvious that, hey, by the way, this is going on. I would love to hear any other smart ways in which you plan to use it. Like, hit me up on LinkedIn. If you find some ways where like, you gotta do this, let me know. Okay, any other feedback, any other, You guys are such a loud crowd. I don't know what to do with you. Oh, well, at least you know what? You got warmed up for all the other sessions that are coming down the pipeline. So just pro tip here, speakers do like to be talked at, and I love to even throw candy at a speaker once in a while, because we do go low on energy after all the talking. But I appreciate all of you being here. It feels like you don't want to leave. That's why you're still here. So I think that means the session was good. Thank you.